What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys, and of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second, hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily, and of course, hop in the Discord. Link for that's in the description box down
What's
below.
up, everyone? Welcome to another one here on My Cowboys Family. As we, yesterday was an off night. This was literally no news on the Cowboys, but not much today either. Still, some very important stuff to discuss here, happening right there at Ford Center, at the Star, Frisco. A lot of stuff going down college draft prospect-wise. We got some of that. Of course, always got to talk about that free agency thing, situation going on. Some of our own guys, are they coming back? They going somewhere else? Some of the few that are left. How about Jerry and Stephen Jones and their management of the cap, and some of the media from the Cowboys.com themselves, maybe just licking a little bit too much of the Jerry and the Stephen nuts.
The Kool-Aid.
I couldn't say that. It's probably too early for that. But either way, we're going to talk about it all and more, like Dak and the progressions of his contract. Mm-hmm. He may be cooking there a little bit as the contract. Brandon Cooks out there practicing. Hey, we'll get to it.
Depends if you count Jello salad as cooking, but
we'll talk about it all here on My Cowboys Family for another Cowboys chat. But first, let's represent those that represent here on My Cowboys Family for this week as the champions of our boards. And there's a big name sticking out there at the king of the Cash App, but he's also the sponsor of the week, and that is the man, much love to, McLovin.
Woo! Thank you, McLovin. Appreciate you, of course, as always.
Yes, I mean, this guy's been the sponsor of the week for 4 out of the last 6 weeks, and the Cash App king, I think 6 out of the last 7 weeks. So domination from the man McLovin. He is a Dolphin fan. He is on the After Dark portion of our channels most of the time. So always shouting him out for the love and the support for the channel that he does bring. So appreciate him. Another big supporter of the channel for a long, long time. It's an OG, A. Lavelle, with 67 points on the stream, boss. So again, big shout out to Mr. Lavelle. And then when you look at the gifting membership winner, king, champion, don't look any farther than Skeptical Fan. Always staying skeptical. Appreciate him. He is also in the lead this week. Gifting memberships. He has 1 on it. That's easy to beat, but it could be enough for the win. And that'd be back-to-back like our 90s Cowboys. Hell yeah. As far as the other boards, the Cash App leader and the overall leader, you're seeing his name right there floating above in first place over Deadpool, over McLovin. It is Harley Dad. He is in first place, and he's also the current leader of the Cash App side of things. Now, he dropped his love, as well as McLovin and others. The Cash App, the PayPal is where Harley Dad hit it. So there's a lot of different ways to drop the love here. Of course, there's super chats. Mm-hmm. You can gift memberships. You can jump in the membership yourself if you want, or you can, hit the, what did I say, super chat already? Yeah, gift membership. The thanks button, of course. After a stream is posted or a video is posted, you can drop love that way. That all counts for the overall board. So does the Cash App drops. But Cash App has his own champion board there. So like Harley Dad's representing 2 boards right now in the lead, like the way McLovin has done. We'll see what happens if Harley Dad can hold it down. But what are the ways to attack the Cash App?
You have, of course, the Cash App money sign My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and last but not least, of course, the Streamlabs link lets your comment show up on screen just like a super chat.
Boom, just like a super chat. Which, by the way, I think one's coming up. I just checked the chat, and the man who has the all-time record is the sponsor of the week, 15 weeks in a row. That's the toughest of any of our boards. It's the man Mark Hovsepian. Aloha. Woo. He's repping that star all the way from Hawaii, and he dropped that 1-2. Still J. Lou. It's still J. Lou now. Jordan Lewis.
There it is.
Yeah, the $2 J. Lou holler. What did the man Mark Hovsepian have to say, baby?
Ooh, he said, any truth to Dallas signing Connors? JJ's, beep, redacted until after we do the shout-outs, Mark. Just in case the YouTube's watching, listening.
I kind of slipped a little bit. Hopefully they weren't listening. But yes, Mark.
You meant bouncy balls.
The Connors, when you say Connors, there's only one Connor staying in Buffalo, and that's Connor McGovern. We know that. But Connor Williams, formerly of Miami, couldn't play center for us, but somehow was one of the top centers for Miami. He's still out there. I've talked about him. I haven't seen Mark in a couple of days, so maybe he missed some of what we were talking about, but that's one of my guys on my list. I'm actually going to talk about him tonight because we're talking about some free agents. So you want to stay tuned, Mark, tonight. I got a good list of free agents that could be good players and contributors to the team for the bargain basement value price that we're realistic here. We're not going to give you the big names just to give you a big name. We're going to give you the names that if they fall through the cracks could very well be a Cowboy. I ain't celebrating about it. This is the front office bull crap, but it is.
And as far as truth,
possibilities.
According to some of the truths we're going to talk about tonight, the Cowboys keep flip flopping on just like guys we already have in the building. So, we'll get to, I guess, what's really happening.
But I do want to say when it comes to Connor Williams, center, one of the top centers after he left us with the Dolphins, the main issue with him is not can he play center or not, or can he come back to the Cowboys. He has a lot of injury issues going on, so that's the big hurdle. If he can pass his physicals and get into I would love to see him in Dallas as a 1 year piece. And then, see if any of our other guys can do it, or just hell with it. Just draft the center guard out there, which, again, another center guard discussion tonight. And we're going to start off early like this. Don't worry, we're going to get right to that part, which is the pro days. And there's a guy in there from Duke that I think is one of the realistic, better guys we can grab. I hope he's available there at 24, that can play guard or center. And I think he could be that piece. And I'm more into the guard center than the tackles, actually. But we got gaping holes on this offensive line.
Oh, boy.
A lot of things to fix. And we'll talk about it as we get into this. As you see, Mr. Lavelle, the 65 points. But, baby, we got to shout out those that rep on our ultimate boards here, the ultimate membership boards, and that is the
Star and over everything, guys. Again, membership has its perks, whether you're navy blue, silver, star over everything. But there's some special perks, right? Silver members get their weekly shout-outs. Star
Fridays,
members, and over everything, they get their nightly shout-outs. So thank you very much, Skeptical Fan, Jason Renfro, Lincoln Kane, Mary Alvarez, Marissa Sparkle, Andy Potched, Dwayne Broussard, and The Lunatic.
Hell yeah. Much love to everybody in the Star. You just heard shouted out. It's from the Star level. I think Mr. Seabass might have fell off the over everything for now. I'm sure he'll be back. And plus, he'll be back on the channel. We still owe him an appearance here. Yes, so he's going to be back here sometime this week, early next week, to discuss the state of the Cowboys free agency, after free agency now, during free agency. So we'll talk to him, Seabass, much love. But he's not on the list now and on this raffle, which is coming up at the end of the week or early next week for this month of March level membership. Again, if you're in the Star over everything, you're automatically entered. If you're in over everything, you get 2 entries. And if you happen to be a weekly winner like McLovin, Jeremy Bramlett, you have Deadfool, any of these guys, like Harley Dad, if he wins it, that's going to be 4 new names into this month's raffle. So keep that in mind. You win in the month of March, the big boards, you end up being in the raffle. If you happen to be a Star over everything level member, and you win one of those, and you get an extra raffle entry. So upping your chances. Sewn and stitched. Many jerseys to pick from, old and new, different styles, sizes, the whole thing. And a lot of these guys in here that are winning these weekly boards are not even Cowboy fans. They like the MCF family here. They're part of the family. So Harley Dad's like a Niner fan. We got McLovin, who's a Dolphin fan. Every team's available. A lot of players, but mainly from the Cowboys. But every team's available, even all the 4 major sports. So a lot to choose from for any of the winners on our monthly jersey raffle, which is coming up very soon. So jump in the Star over everything, or be a weekly winner if you want to get into this thing. Now, we got that covered. Let's shout out Marco Seppian once again, because he just dropped another J-Lou $2 holler.
Yes, he did.
What did the man say?
I will text his wife and ask her, what's up, clowns? Thank you, Mark. Hey, you better start texting everybody's wife at this point.
We better get someone woken up in this.
Apparently our Cowboys alone are not going to be able to get anything done, so we need to call in reinforcements, right?
Much love to the man, Marco Seppian, and I'm going to add him to the board as you do the shout-outs, baby. Go for it.
Yeah, let me start off with Luis Ortiz, much love. Yeah. We do it because we're slightly crazy. Yes. Stephen White, much love. Skeptical fan, always staying skeptical. Asking, by the way, who's going to watch the Godzilla Kong movie?
One day.
We'll probably end up watching it once it's released at home.
Yeah, we don't go out to the theaters too often. We have our own movie theater here in the house.
I can't even remember the last time we went to the movie theater.
It's been a while. Because everything is, we got so many things to catch up on.
We've gone at least once post-COVID, I know that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, it's not because of COVID. We just don't really go often. And we are so backlogged right now on things to watch that by the time we want to watch the movie and it's time to get to it, it's already out. It's already on the TV here, on Netflix or HBO
exactly.
or something.
So, Frame Rippers, much love. Voodoo. Thanks for being here and joining us tonight. We have, let me see, who else is here? Griff181, peace and love to you. Mike Aldana, what's up? Napoleon Bonaparte, hey, the General himself. A big mahalo to Mark Hovsepian, of course,
yeah.
who's going to text everybody's wife and make shit happen now. Raul, representing. What's up? Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, hello and hi. Bama fan, shout out to you as well. We have Juan Carlos in the house. Thomas Garrett, the superior. Garrett. Spoony Dog, hello. Thanks for rolling with us tonight.
Spoony.
Even you, Leaside Herald. Madman, what's up? Yeah, the Gilmore news.
We'll talk about it. But Skeptical Fan, it's funny because he's a movie junkie, so am I. But I still haven't caught up on some movies. I've been too relaxed on my movie watching. And I don't know about Gilmore. The news on Gilmore, it's that we had talked about him looking at the Panthers. I got new news today about that.
All right. So S. Modius, what's up? He's almost first. Madman, hello and hi. Meatball Ron, even you. Freedom First was actually first this time. No surprise there. So kind of roll it back. I think that's everyone here so far. So, baby, let me go ahead and touch on a handful of comments here in the chat before I officially hand things off over to you. So, first of all, Stephen White was saying, our O-line is okay to start, but the D-line needs help. Upgrading both is always smart. Yep. I have to be honest,
Trenches.
The way our O-line currently is right now, I would not call it anywhere close to being ready to start. And even with the moves that I anticipate the Cowboys are going to make as far as the draft, I still don't know if one singular rookie offensive lineman brings me back to, I'm comfortable with the O-line. Or, we have 5 starters at the O-line again. That's just my personal thoughts. Yeah. So, and yeah, Voodoo or Frame Rippers, not really sure. You know, we obviously can't pick what ads YouTube shows beforehand, but even I admit a 4-minute ad seems a little bit much.
Yeah, just skip that.
YouTube said F our intro,
you should have 5 seconds to skip that. And then
that's what I'm saying. It's a little crazy. So, let me see here. And yes, Little J, guys, one of the reasons that, we did take a night off outside of just the Cowboy stuff. We're celebrating Little J's birthday this week. Time definitely flies. Feels like yesterday where,
let's not talk about it. 17.
Yeah, Mr. RCF is
I can't.
Handling it about as well as you can expect.
Father to handle it, yes.
Dwayne Broussard, the top dog, what's up? So, Skeptical Fan, you see, now that's cool. I want to know, do you have the famous Dune bucket, the popcorn bucket? Because that thing looked like, again, a creature straight out of a sci-fi novel. So, yeah. So, you see, Luis Ortiz is saying, draft someone who can be a multiple position person on the O-line. So basically, as long as you get a versatile offensive lineman, you're gonna love what I'm gonna say. You're gonna love what I'm gonna say about a couple guys out there that may be very versatile and on the Cowboys' radar. We'll see. Aztec Aguilera 4 saying, what's up, MCF, MCW, everyone in the chat tonight. So, hey, thanks for being here, rolling with us, hanging with us, right?
Appreciate you.
So I like that comment, Skeptical. He said, we need a King Kong on offense and defense. So, definitely. Sorry, I'm reading a few more comments here. And yes, guys, again, I think I said it already, but just in case, like, subscribe, hit the bell.
Yes, and also want to shout out a couple people that dropped low when we were off. But, on our night off yesterday, SCO971, actually it was 2 nights ago, I think. SCO971, McLovin, and Marissa, truly appreciate you guys. Also, Grateful Nomad, Jera Jones, Dead Fool, McLovin. Yeah, McLovin and Rob L. So appreciate all you guys dropping the love on our, after dark, on our off night. Appreciate the love and support on that side of things. Now for the nitty gritty on our Dallas Cowboys and the plans here for the Cowboys going forward from from what we're gonna talk about this kind of NFL news. But we're going to start with Cowboy regional news here, Dallas Cowboy news at the Star itself. Basically, the picture we have here in our thumbnail, you see this is an actual picture. This was today, guys, Pro Day. And it's not just Pro Day, just say Pro Day. See all those rookies, a whole pile of rookies on the right of the screen? They were all at the Star today for the Big 12 Pro Day. It's kind of a new thing here that the first ever Big 12 conference Pro Day was today. And it happens to be at the Star. So we got all our guys here, guys. So this is a good thing here. A lot of schools, of course, in that conference, the Big 12 conference. You see some examples there, Texas and K-State and a bunch of others. So again,
It's kind of cool. Not gonna lie.
They were inside of this, the Ford Center, Ford Field. They're doing their combine work. Well, combine work, pro day work, combine-like work. And that was at Frisco, at the Star, Ford Center. So the Big 12 Conference announced Wednesday the participants and schedule I guess it was last Wednesday, but they announced that it was going to take place. It wasn't just today. It's March 27th, 28th, 29th, and the 30th of March.
Okay.
It's a 4-day, it's a lot of players, a whole conference of players, and they're all going to be doing this at the Ford Center at the Star in Frisco. So now at this event, Deuce Vaughn was spotted there at Ford Field, the Ford Center. Deuce Vaughn was there, running back for the Cowboys. He was talking to some of his former Kansas State teammates who were, of course, participating in this Big 12 Conference Pro Day. And another guy that was there for the Cowboys was Trey Lance.
Oh.
He actually was hands-on. Let me explain. Trey Lance was helping run John Rye Plumlee. John Rye Plumlee is from UCF, yes, University of Central Florida Golden Knights, who are Big 12, by the way. And he was helping him run his extra throwing sessions at this pro day at the Star. So he was actually directly helping out another quarterback, UCF quarterback John Rye Plumlee.
That's kind of
Plumlee. Cool. Yeah, he was a 2023 honorable mention, all Big 12 conference. For the all Big 12 for the Big 12 conference. But basically, they were working out this entire pre-draft process. These two guys, Trey Lance and the UCF quarterback. So Trey Lance running the script for Plumlee. He kind of running him through what they had practiced already. And Trey Lance said that, quote, "That's my guy," as they have been, again, working a lot this offseason. UCF quarterback John Rye Plumlee also ran a 4.53 and a 44 quarterback. That's fast.
I was going to say, that is really fast.
And again, he threw 56 scripted throws at the receivers he's trained with in Dallas after the other two, quarterbacks, the other two throws, after calling and then asked permission a day ahead, because again, he wanted to make sure he was going to be able to throw to the guys he's used to already. He's been practicing. He had to confirm that, and now it's been confirmed. So he was able to go out there with the guys that he practiced with, throwing the ball to, and of course, Trey Lance helping guide him. Interesting, seeing Trey Lance taking a step like that. So that was at the Cowboys, at the Star, all right? That was going down, and it's going to go down for 4 days. That was day one of 4. Yeah, 1 out of 4 days. But let's go all the way to Duke and then North Carolina. And Duke had their pro day today. And the important thing about Duke's pro day is that this is the guy I think the Cowboys, I told you, Mark, earlier, I think this is one of the guys that is on the higher realistic top of my list. I hope he's there. He's a versatile offensive lineman who's a center and a guard. He can play both. But I also think he's played all 5 spots. His name is Duke. Well, he's Duke offensive lineman Graham Barton. I always forget his first. I always say Barton from Duke. It's Graham. I got to remember. Golden Grahams. I don't know.
Yeah.
Graham Barton from Duke, guys. The reports are, and I've seen some of the video, he's huge, right? He looks like the Incredible Hulk type of frame. But he moves like an outside linebacker. Like, he's fast. He's quick. He's speedy. He's much more than you think. And when it came to his 40-yard dash, remember, guys, he's 6'5", 311 pounds, an interior offensive lineman, and he ran a 4.94 and a 4.97 from the scouts from the Duke Pro Day.
I'm pretty sure he's faster than me.
Definitely. He's faster than all of us.
Like insanity.
Yeah, and this guy's 6'5", 311 pounds. He did this in the 40-yard dash. All 32 teams were at Duke's Pro Day. I just want you to. Everyone's interested. And there's a lot of guys there, but this is the guy. Again, his short shuttle, 4.54 and 4.56. For an offensive lineman of that size, incredible. 3 cone numbers, 7.31, 7.32. Just so consistent. He primarily, in this session, in this pro day, worked at center during the positional drills, which has been everybody projects him to be a center.
Okay. And
we need a center. So this guy, but guys, I want you to know he's played all 5 motherfucking positions. We're past the buffer point.
Going back to that comment, I think it was Stephen White that said it.
Or was it? Yeah, I think it was Stephen White. Yep.
Just talking about, again, like, get an offensive lineman, or maybe it was Lewis, but the point is, get an offensive lineman that does have that versatility.
Yeah.
So that it's, you don't feel locked into, we drafted an outside offensive lineman. Tackle. Yeah. Sorry, almost. I know. Sorry. The way it's because the comment you made about the outside linebacker made me think defense.
Yeah, on the edges guy, which is a tackle, right, or interior guy, an IOL, which is an interior offensive lineman, which is a guard or a center. He's a guard center.
But yeah, long story short, similar to Tyler Smith, you're not forced to be locked into only using them in one way. You do have that option.
And so Graham Barton from Duke is a guy to pencil in your little short list of guys you may be seeing. I like JPJ. I like Graham Barton. I'm happy with either guy, and we can maybe even trade back. And maybe he slips through. I doubt it, but maybe he slips through. I don't know. He worked at center. He can play guard. He's done that, and he's also played all 5 positions, left and right side. So this guy, jack of all trades, first-round talent, and a lot of people looking at him. So to me, this is a guy that's high on my list, Graham Barton from Duke. I'm going to remember that name. One last thing, which was yesterday. We were off, but the Cowboys were at the LSU Pro Day. The positional coaches, it's interesting here, were receiver coaches. It's interesting because one of the receivers, guys, is Malik Neighbors. He had a 4.35 40-yard dash. Some NFL personnel out there believe Malik Neighbors is this draft class top wide receiver.
Oh, okay.
And so you have the Cowboys wide receiver coach there, Robert Prince, over there watching. You also have the Chargers receiver coach there. I think the Raiders, one of the Raider coaches, but not the receiver coaches. The receiver coaches was the Chargers and the Cowboys. So wherever the Chargers pick, they pick up way in front of us, so we know if they're going to go with like Neighbors. But that's not the guy I'm talking about. I wonder if the Cowboys are looking at Brian Thomas, wide receiver from LSU. Because again, you can go with the big name, the guy who ran fast, Malik Neighbors. I don't think the Cowboys are going to draft him in the first pick, and I don't know if he's going to even fall that far. But to me, it's about the offensive line is the clear need. But again, this front office might say, well, we love T.J. Bass, and we love Brock Hoffman in there. So maybe they say we'll hold off on that and go for a receiver in the first round. I can't believe they would do that, but never put anything past old Jared Jones. Now, I do want to make one quick note about Robert Prince. He came over a couple of years ago. He was known through Boise State because of Kellen Moore. And, he's been with the Cowboys for a couple of years. He was one of the people, big proponents, on the table jumping for Jalen Tolbert in his rookie year coaching, Robert Prince. Mm-hmm. Interesting little thing about Robert Prince. He's 58 years old. He was running at the USATF Masters Indoor Championship on March 21st and 22nd. You know what that means? He was running, it's track and field, guys. USA Track and Field Masters. This means that people that are like different divisions, but the older people. So he's in the 55 age division. Jeez. He's 58 years old, and he ran in the, I think, the hurdles, came in first place. Came out of nowhere in the inside or the outside track and just destroyed everybody. Placed first in the 60-meter hurdle. And he had a 9.06 time, and he was second in the pentathlon. Just saying, this guy is incredible. Robert Prince is he's a track and field superstar at 58 years old.
I was gonna say, I don't know what you do in your off time. Not track and field,
not pentathlons. Yeah, and so that's what you see. I mean, he ran in college, I'm assuming, so he already has some knowledge. But he kept up with this in his life. And he's our receivers coach. He does look a lot younger than 58. I mean, I didn't even think he was 58, but he's 58 and he's out there looking like he's 28. So good for him. Hopefully he'll coach as good as he can, He hasn't shown up too much yet. We'll see. He's still with the Cowboys. Everyone's on their last year, though. So Robert Prince, good luck. And get those receivers in order. Get Jalen Tolbert, your guy, to the front lines in that third receiver spot, which we know the Cowboys are going to do that this year. So we'll see what happens with that. Now, NFL news. Anybody have any comments on this here when it comes to any of these pro days? Because we're done with the rookies. We're going to go now into NFL, and we're going to go into the Cowboys situation here, free agency.
Stephen White saying lots of good linemen this draft. Luis Ortiz said
Very
we
deep.
need that versatility because we lose so many offensive linemen during the year.
You never know when you need them, where to put them. And by the way, guys, this draft is deep at tackle and center. The two spots we need. That's partially why I think the Cowboys are kind of like, we'll roll our dice and grab someone in like the first and the third, and we'll be good.
Thomas Garrett throwing out there, Brian Thomas led the nation in receiving yards per game.
There you go. A guy I think the Cowboys may consider But I don't know if in the first round, I just can't see them not, going for a receiver in the first round. But if this guy goes to the second, which a lot of people say he won't, well, if he's there in the second, he might be the pick. You never know.
Apocalyptic Cowboys, shout out to you, the ultimate Garrett, previously known as an 808 Cowboy, said, I'm team trade back.
I am too.
Which,
yeah, to me,
I'm just saying, just kind of very quickly spinning off the thread you have there. If the Cowboys are targeting a double dip potentially at the O-line, especially a first round plus, right? I think trading back becomes a somewhat more viable option. And just based on the depth that there is here, I mean, just where we're going to pick, we already will have probably the cream of the crop when it comes to some of the top offensive linemen in this draft.
When it comes to a lot of these...
Probably not the number one guy, but like I said, we're going to get one of the
A lot of the tackles are going to be supposedly got in the top 20. Like 5-6 tackles we got in the top 20. Not so much as guards and centers. So those may drop to us. You might have JPJ and Graham Barton available at 24. You go back a couple spots, the probability is that one of them are still there. And you're still getting an extra third-round pick or an extra fourth-round pick, which you don't even have a fourth-round pick. With that pick, you can get that running back. The pick before that, instead of using that for the running back, you get the receiver. And instead of using that receiver pick in the second round, you can use it for the linebacker. It all helps out the trickle-down effect if you get that extra pick somewhere in late day 2, early day 3. That helps your entire draft. Changes the whole feel of the draft if you trade back a couple spots and still get your fucking center. That's the key. Well, we'll see. There's also tackles that'll be available at 31 and 32 and 33, and the Cowboys trade back far enough, they pick up that third rounder, still get a top first round graded offensive lineman, and now you could really hit harder here with the next 3 picks in the top 100, right? You got 3 more picks in the top 100 now. You could really do some damage there, at least fix some of these holes we got in this team, and there's many of them. Now, great points by the chat. Love it, baby. Great points by you, but the depth factor is a big reason why I would trade down. There's nobody good enough that I would stay there and take. There won't be there someone as equal or close to as equal as them in 5, 6, 7 picks later. There's going to be someone there. So I agree with you. I'm big time team trade back. You just don't know who's going to be there when you trade back. It might not be our favorite guy, but it'll be a guy who's almost as good or just as good.
Yeah.
So that's the key there. Now, NFL news. Okay, free agents. Receivers, real quick. We talk about receivers. Veteran wide receiver I can't ever say his name. Alamide Zaccheaus. He agreed. He's a former Falcon. I think he was with the Eagles and all over the place. He went to different birds, but now he's really with the Birds, with the Washington Commanders and Dan Quinn. So now he's over there, probably their third or fourth receiver for their team as they're trying to build some depth there. But he's a veteran wide receiver going to the Commanders. No numbers on his money yet. The Broncos. Here's some money on former Lions wide receiver Josh Reynolds. Good player. Signed a 2-year deal worth a max of $14 million. So a max of $7 million per year for the Broncos signing Josh Reynolds. He had a 40-catch, 5-touchdown season in Detroit. He joined Sean Payton's offense in Denver. There you go. You got that guy there. Now, what about Jadeveon Clowney? Some of you guys are like, he's still out there. Let's get him. I was never a big fan. I don't think he was going to be in our plans at all. He did sign today, so he's out of anything. He's expected to sign with the Carolina Panthers. The compensation numbers, the money for this, the Panthers are giving him a 2-year deal worth a total of $20 million, max $24 million. So it's basically max $12 a year. You think the Cowboys are going to do that? We know. Every year the Clowneys are available. It's always like, well, we should bring him in. And every time he signs, it's always for way too much. At this front office, whatever I'd given him, he'll never come to Dallas until he's like 40. And he's there for like $1.5 million. Now, a guy that we've been looking at just cleared the medical waivers, kind of the medical check. And that's running back, former Baltimore free agent running back, J.K. Dobbins. A guy that I've been talking a lot about, him and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That's the top kind of 2 running backs available right now in free agency, veteran guys. Dobbins has been banged up and injured so much, so that's the biggest hit with him. It wasn't for that. Man, the man averages 5.8 yards per carry in his career, but he's injured a lot. So here's the thing. He's scheduled some visits, and he's scheduled a visit with the Los Angeles Chargers right now. So, again, coming off a torn Achilles, Dobbins now has been officially, as we said the other day, a couple days ago, medically cleared for football activity. So there's a very good chance he could reunite with the Chargers, and that's also with the Chargers offensive coordinator, Greg Roman, who Greg Roman's offense was what he played in and where he averaged 5.8 yards a carry. So that's where you see the connection with maybe J.K. Dobbins going to the Chargers. And it's going to be on the cheap, guys. Trust me on that, especially with the injury. Now, that's the free agent news not involving the Cowboys, or I guess you could say involving the Cowboys for, just like who we're not going to get, who's taken off the board. What about this guy? Stephon Gilmore. So we talked about it. Do you remember the other day we spoke about Gilmore?
Yes.
Going to Carolina, maybe this interest there. Nothing was set, and nothing is still set. He hasn't been picked up by anyone yet.
Okay.
Cowboys, when we heard about Stephen Jones speaking about him, it sounded like we were done with him. I'm being honest.
Yeah, that's why, like, the combination of that plus hearing that last-minute news last night that the Panthers were also interested, most of us basically started packing his bags for him.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you this right now. This is really where we're starting right now is this is going to lead into the whole rest of the tonight's discussion. So this could have been a Cowboy quickie-like thing. We're going to talk about some free agents at the end of this. But we got to talk about the meat of this situation, which is the way our front office runs things. And it involves, Gilmore's an example. Let me explain. Gilmore hit like on a tweet on X. Mm-hmm. That was critical of the Cowboys front office.
Nah.
Yeah. Now, it's unclear if Stephon Gilmore and the Cowboys have kept in touch. It doesn't sound like much that they have, if they have at all.
And I have to imagine whatever was exchanged, I'm guessing the liked tweet says it all.
Well, but Gilmore's latest social media activity suggests he's not impressed with Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, and the Cowboys front office. In fact, he liked a tweet. I'll read it in a minute, but it was a tweet that praised the Rams' leadership and their front office for their quick turnaround after they went all in to try to win a Super Bowl. That was 3 years ago. Remember, they did win they went all in and they did win the Super Bowl. They also went in a couple years before that and lost the Super Bowl.
I know, but the whole point is that they stayed in that mix.
Yep,
they were competitive. They were aggressive. They were doing things to try to get there. And even if they fell short of the Super Bowl, they were still one of the top teams constantly, pretty much for a solid chunk of years there.
Yeah, they took hits. You had a bad year. You took a little bit of a shitty year, but it worth it for it going all in. Getting to the Super Bowl, you lost by a field goal to the Patriots. You won the Super Bowl against the Bengals. I'm just saying, so that to me, guys, when you look at the quick turnaround and how the Rams went all in and then he hit the like on that, to me it's a deserved dig at Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, and the fucking clown show, as we call him. So let me tell you what the actual tweet was, right? Because PFF said after another Rams signing. In this, with a cornerback signing, which is Stephon Gilmore's position, PFF said, quote, the Rams are loading up in the secondary. There was a retweet then, not a retweet. That was retweeted by someone. Again, I forgot who put this out there, but basically I think it was Connor Lively. He said the Rams won the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and I was told the entire time that they would set their franchise back decades with how all in they went. Isn't it amazing how good front offices and coaching staffs can figure it out? Mm-hmm. End quote. And that's the quote that, with the cornerback signing for the Rams, Stephon Gilmore hitting the like on what a good front office looks like. And obviously our front office, Stephen Jones, saying we're kind of done with him. We're not really looking in getting our team. The all-in bullshit, all that stuff that we talked about in the past, we know it's all out. It's win with less is what we're doing this year. That should be the picture. But Gilmore, he's kind of frustrated because he really wanted to come back to Dallas. I'm sure it would have given us a cheaper deal than he was going to get somewhere else. And it just seems like it could be other things. Maybe he's pissed he's not getting any other deals right now close to his offering, price. But it's business. I understand. And if he goes cheaper and the Cowboys sign him, then it's the right move. But the way the Cowboys are treating him, it don't sound like it's going to go that way. And the way he's now feeling, it don't sound like it's going to go that way. So expect no Stephon Gilmore wearing that star this year. That's what I'm thinking. Any quick thoughts on the move here by Stephon Gilmore? A little bit of, I think, a little anger, a little upsetness, mad. What do you think?
It obviously, I think, adds weight to the whole Carolina situation because if he's not happy with our front office, obviously, to me, that is a bigger sign that he's not exactly going to come back to a team run by this front office. But on the other hand, we have seen it before with players like Tank and others where, closed mouths don't get fed, right? So as soon as they start complaining and bitching about the Cowboys and the front office and the way that this team handles things like that,
then things change.
Very quickly, these players all of a sudden find their feelings soothed by being signed and coming back to the fold. So.
Yeah, and the Cowboys overpay. That's the way it usually goes. But look, I also think that
Gilmore's not wrong though. He's seeing it from the inside. We're seeing it from the outside.
Yeah, I think
it's not a surprise.
I also think it could be this too. What if the Carolina Panthers visit or non-visit didn't go well? That could be frustrating to him, saying that no one's picking me up, and I want to go back to the Cowboys, but this is how you go all in. The Cowboys aren't doing it, and it doesn't. You're not going to get set back for decades, which was the word. You go back and get back to the Super Bowl right away.
I'm sorry. If Stephon Gilmore's contract sets you back for decades, we have so many problems.
And you know what the problems are? We got two of them. 1, 2 right there, left and right of your screen. So anyways, there's your update. I don't know if the chat has anything to say on the Gilmore update situation, but I just want to make sure.
Like I said, Gilmore, just do what you need to do.
Yep, Gilmore, no more in Dallas, in my opinion. Not his fault, front office fault, and that's their choice. Better, right or wrong, that's their choice.
Lewis Ortiz said Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones won't change. It was, was Tom Landry put in frozen cryogenesis. Right? Cool said, I hate to sound like a hater, but the Jones family are leeches from Charlotte to Jerry.
Well, Charlotte's the best bet. If we get Charlotte somehow running this team, she'll let the people run it that's supposed to run it. The front office stuff, and then she'll let the football team being run by a real GM. The problem is she'll probably put Stephen Jones as the GM.
Look,
that's the problem.
Charlotte's in charge of the PR.
True.
Why do you think that we have this image of Charlotte? She's not dumb. She uses her dumb men, the dumb men in her family, as the human meat shields. I'm just saying, we have no idea what she would or wouldn't be like in running a football team. We can tell what she's like running a business, running an organization, but running a football team, we feel like she knows enough to not be involved the way that Jerry and Steven are.
The important thing is that she knows to stay out of the GMing football signing player side of things, and that's just because she's a woman. That's because she's a businesswoman. Like the way Stephen Jones is a chemical fucking engineer and Jerry Jones is an oil businessman. They're not fucking football running team guys, That's why you got Jimmy Johnson. You won 2 Super Bowls and then the third one because his guys. That's the way you're supposed to do it. That's the way other teams win, with real GMs, not with oil men and chemical engineers like Stephen Jones and Charlotte Jones, PR, superstar.
I know. All I'm gonna say is that she is still her daddy's daughter, and I would not sit here and make any assumptions
follow the Jerry
about
way.
Annie Jones and how they would run our organization.
Good point. He's probably taught her well. You take over, Charlotte. You make Stephen the GM, and he'll make all the moves.
Well,
vomit time.
Let's bring it back to the GM front office.
The man, Mark Hosepian.
Mark's comment here, his $5 holler. You know what he had to say?
I know he put 5 on it. What did he say?
If Jerry Jones does re-sign Dak, all that money saved is useless.
Yep.
All good free agents are gone.
Yep.
Imagine this team with Kendricks, Hankins, Gilmore, Henry, a free agent defensive edge.
We don't lose Tyron
Smith. The best
Smith.
player available at the O-line.
Yeah, I'm just saying, exactly.
Just those, again, none of those things are anywhere outside of the realm of Cowboys possibilities. If we were to do that, I think most of us would feel much better about things heading into the off season.
Yeah, at least a little optimism.
Heading into the regular season.
When I look at his comment there, I want to make sure. I know, Mark, you've been on and off. I know you've been busy, brother, but I've been screaming about this for a month. That this front office is purposely not going to open up money to show guys. This front office has spent $11 million so far in new contracts, extensions, and free agent signings of our own or others. We have only spent a little over $11 million. The next team, we're the worst. We have spent the least in free agency. The only team worse than us, the only team that's the next team up is over $30 million spending in free agency more than we have. The Cardinals are spending like $40 million. So this is an embarrassment. We're doing it on purpose to not open up money. If the Cowboys made a restructure, and we're going to talk about that now, but the Cowboys restructure here and there, it would change everything. In fact, what you're saying right now, Mark, is the bulk of our discussion tonight. You'll see what I mean in a minute. So, and we've talked, Mark and I, we've all discussed this with Mark, that even if the Cowboys had $70 million open now, we would still go basement bargain shopping. We'd get one good player, and then everybody else would be crap. We'd all get the draft picks, and then we use them, and then we got to roll with those guys. It would be very similar, but a lot worse because we'd have no quarterback.
Yeah.
And we'd have the same shitty players around, maybe a better, tight end. I don't know what to fucking say. And that's that. And then we'd have a crappy quarterback and all the same holes and all the things, because that's the way the Jones do. That's why spend the money, get Stephon Gilmore, re-sign Dak Prescott, extend him, or we're going to be, it's just another wasted year with players that are wasting their careers. And we're wasting our lives. We're watching this rebuild. It's a soft, to me, it's almost not even a soft rebuild. It's a rebuild.
Griff181, by the way, rolling it back to the Gilmore points here before we move on. He said, with all due respect to Gilly, corner is not our priority right now.
What Stephen Jones said, the reason why I say Gilmore's out of the mix in a way, because Stephen Jones said, well, we're happy with our three guys, and Jordan Lewis being the nickel cornerback, which means DaRon Bland's the outside, which is great. I know they like the picks he got, the pick sixes. The DaRon Bland is actually better on the inside. He's fantastic on the outside, but he's elite as a nickel corner. It's the same way I think about Tyler Smith on offensive line. At guard, he's elite. At tackle, he's fantastic. But he's elite at guard. So that's the way I see this move here. Unfortunately, the Cowboys kind of screwing up again, missing an opportunity by just not getting an outside corner, a solid outside guy, to get the most out of not just cool plays, but the most out of DaRon Bland. He got the pick six against Washington to break the record, right? On Thanksgiving, I think. But remember that game? He gave up 100 yards. First time he gave up 100 yards to receiver all year, it was DaRon Bland. You want DaRon Bland in the slot. He locks him down. He won't let any yards go. He might get the picks, but he ain't letting nobody beat him. And that's the thing, that we were close in that game to the fourth quarter. And a lot of that has to do with they picked on Bland all day outside. He's still good. He's fantastic outside, but he's not as good as he is in the slot, as a slot, covering the slot receiver in the nickel cornerback spot on defense. And we're forcing him now to be outside, and Jordan Lewis steps up. And he's good. Jordan Lewis is a top 10, top 12 nickel cornerback, but that's all he can do. Like, if you have DaRon Bland in front of him, Jordan Lewis can step in if someone on the outside gets hurt, like we did last year. And and we won't lose much of a step now. Well, now we're starting off already a step back. That's all. And if we lose any of those guys, guess who's up next? Deshaun Wright. I'm going to keep saying that.
Would we be the Dallas Cowboys if we weren't starting a step back?
Unfortunately not. Unfortunately not. It really pains me.
Let's keep it rolling and maybe... okay. I will read one last comment by Jared Jones, just because it is appropriate.
Jared's on the board, by the way.
Quote-unquote front office.
Yeah, front office on the leaderboard.
He said, my motto is win with less. Why would I start spending money now?
There you go. That was the Jerry Jones requote. But this some Jera said it. Mark in the house. Marco Seppi dropping that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on it. $5 holler. What did Mark have to say as he keeps going up the board and chopping away at Mr. A. Lavelle?
This coming from a guy that does not care for Dak. If they think Lance is going to be solid, that won't matter because Jerry Jones won't spend the money saved on a cheap quarterback. So basically,
it's not going to move
moving
the needle.
on from Dak doesn't mean diddly squat.
It means we're worse at quarterback.
We're not going to do anything with the money that we're saving by investing it back into the team in quality players all around this, now younger quarterback.
But exactly what he's saying. The same exact thing.
So you might as well pay Dak because at least, we
have a chance. You have a better chance with Dak than with Cooper Rush, Trey Lance, and still not spending that money you're going to get back.
What we mean by that is, of course, like Dak plus, the few weapons we do still at least currently have versus the other way around where it would be a lesser caliber quarterback with
the same
still
lack
these
of
same
weapons.
But again,
that's why it's worse.
Very different scenario.
When Dak, good teams, bad teams, Dak's throwing an MVP type season, you're going to replace him with Cooper Rush or Trey Lance. We're going to go 4 wins. And that is that. With this team, we go 4 wins with Trey Lance or Cooper Rush. And with Dak, we make the playoffs. You get lucky. Maybe there's a confidence boost somewhere. Just saying, you never fucking know. But at least you got a fighting chance. The other way, you're chanceless. Yeah. And that's the thing. Every year, we got to hope for Dak to stay now. And I'm not saying this is coming from somebody who appreciates Dak's talent. But I also know that what the Cowboys are doing are putting everything on Dak's back this year. And he ain't Mahomes. Jerry Jones thinks Dak is Mahomes. He ain't no fucking Mahomes. He ain't Joe Montana. He ain't none of those greats like that. So he's very good. He's a top 10 quarterback. I think top 7. Had a good year, a great year. But still, you don't want to put everything on Dak's back. Well, the Joneses are going to do that and then going to blame it on Dak. We don't have an offensive line. They're going to blame it on Dak. We're going to have a shitty scheme. They're going to blame that on McCarthy. And we're all going to be like, it's all their fault. And then next year, after this year, we're going to go 2-15 because now we're really rebuilding. And everyone's going to really see what it's like not having a quarterback. Oh boy. It's going to be ugly. You're going to wish you had Paxton Lynch because he might be better than anyone we're going to bring in here. Either way, I see you, Jera, in the chat. I really hope you're listening to us. Anyways, moving on from this topic. Hey, Mark, you're going to be, stride for stride with us on this stream tonight. I hope you're here for the whole thing because I got some free agents. So maybe I always try to end it with a happier note because I admit this ain't happy notes going on right now in the Cowboy Landia. So, again, we talked about it the other day. Dak's, contract the way it looks like now. After this year, we're only owing $40 million spread over 4 years. It's hardly going to be felt. I think $26 million in 2025. If we don't keep him, he's going to be like $26 million in 2025, dead money, like $11 million or something like that the next year, and then $1 million and $1 million. I mean, you're not going to feel it on a cap that keeps going up by a crazy amount, and even more so until we get to 2020, 2030, 2031. It's going to keep going up. What's the contract situation, though, with Dak? Right now, guys, the newest news is that the Cowboys and Dak Prescott, even though they're comfortable not moving on to make a deal right now, of course, Dak, what does he have to rush for? Dak's going to get paid. He don't give a shit. The Joneses are waiting. They're idiots.
The Cowboys have basically allowed Dak to be in a position of power every single time they come to the negotiation table.
All the leverage is on Dak's side. All of it. I'm sorry. People that think it's wrong, you're dumb. It's not. It's all on Dak's side, the leverage. And that's because the Joneses let it be that way. Not because Dak pushed it to be that way. The Joneses put it this way and allowed him to take control. So the word is, Cowboys and Dak Prescott, the Cowboys do intend to work out a contract for their 3-time Pro Bowl quarterback and are not closed off to potentially consummate a deal for him this year still. So again, for those that thought it was over after what was said the other day, we talked about it, that the Cowboys are good, locked and loaded. Jerry Jones said, I'm locked and loaded with the way we are now. We're not moving. But they still are willing to make a deal. They're still willing to get an extension for Dak. And that doesn't mean just in the offseason. It means even into the season some. Right now, there's no current offer or any imminent talks on the horizon. But the Cowboys are right now not presently charting a path to let him go into free agency. That's the Joneses being dumb. He's going to be a little bit more expensive next year. The Joneses are willing to play the game. I don't know what they're negotiating. They're negotiating against themselves, it feels like. So either way, they're not going to let him go into free agency, but they're playing with fire here. That's the front office fuckery. Dak's entire contract history with the Cowboys, from his rookie deal, getting tagged, the extension, the restructures, are all macro indicators of what? Of Marco Seppian dropping that 5 on it. It is also the macro indicators of the eventual goal of extending Dak Prescott for at least 2 to 3 more years as a Cowboy after this year. So expect Dak to be extended still. Now we got the man, Marco Seppian, dropping another 5 on it, taking Mr. Lavelle at 48 points. What did he say?
Jerry Jones thinks William, Hoffman, Malik, Joseph, Davis, and Wright will easily replace and improve Fowler, Armstrong, Biadish, Hankins, Pollard, and Gilmore.
It makes you want to vomit, doesn't it?
Clowns.
There is no other comment to say other than clowns. 100%. Dropped another one there.
Big mahalo, Mark. Oh. Appreciate you. Yeah, it looks, I don't know if it's like a visual glitch. I think it might be, or maybe something happened there. But
you dropped 2 5 on it back to back there?
Mark, it went 2 5s. And then Brandon J said, hold up, wait a minute. I have my own $5 holler.
He got that 5
to say hello and hi with. Thank you so much, Brandon, for coming through. You know what he said?
Hit me.
Source, the Chiefs agreed to a deal with rugby star Louis Rees-Zammit.
Is he a returner? Is he a punter or kicker? I know some rugby stars out there.
I'm going to guess, just throwing this out there, without knowing anything about this guy. Is he one of those special teams guys? Because of the new changes in special teams, is he one of those guys that is going to be one of those special teams contributors?
That is a great point.
Just throwing that out there.
We talked about the new change in the rule, the kickoffs.
Yeah.
Talked about it yesterday in detail, or 2 days ago. Very good point. Thanks, Brandon, for the update there. And I did think that it did drop twice for Mark. I counted it for him. I'm making sure I counted this for him here. So I'm just double checking.
Oh, good. No, just by the way, Joe said, I want to see what Dak can do when he has to work for his money. maybe if I don't pay him, he'll win a playoff game this time.
See, I don't think, again, number one, obviously Dak wants to win a playoff game. And number two, Dak is doing, sometimes he's bad, sometimes he's good in games or playoff games. He's been good and bad in them. But it's obvious it's not only on Dak.
I know, but
Dak
I think
can't
you
will
took
his way to
Jared's
win.
comment a little too seriously there.
What?
I think you took Jared Jones'
Oh, it was
comment.
Jared. I didn't realize it was Jared.
Yeah, I said so. That's why. Sorry. By the way, I do want to shout out a second here. Establish the Pass. Shout out to you, man. Much love. Glad you're doing well. Hope you and the family are,
Rika
healthy
and the crew.
and good.
Yes.
But by the way, just speaking of the whole Dak deal, and I know you mentioned the $40 million spread out over 4 years.
Yes.
He said not true. If he walks, the $40 million of dead cap money gets moved up to 2025. All those other years get moved up to that 2025 cap. So you don't get to spread the money out. You would have to end up paying him after this year. If I'm understanding
I'm gonna go back to.
I want to throw that out there since we're obviously having this discussion right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to fix the board here
Go
for
ahead.
a quick minute
All
here.
good. I'll circle back to that comment here in a minute. Mike Aldana said the level of competition is different when you compare JSU and Colorado for Sanders.
I agree. No, I agree with that when you talk about the quarterback. Yeah, and JSU, you're not going to get the same Sanders you're going to get from Colorado State, right? So, or Colorado. I'm sorry, not Colorado State. Just fixing the board. Just Marcos have been 6th place, way up there, just like that. Bang up the board.
Frame Rivers, by the way, is saying that we need more cowbell.
We always need more cowbell. Let me.
Kids today don't know about that.
Old Saturday Night Live sketch. Let me see here. I'm trying to get to the Dak. Let me get these guys out the screen, just so we understand it here. And again, maybe I'm reading it wrong, but I've looked up multiple sources on this. The way it's going to play out, the way it's going to kind of break down is, it's $40 million total is a number. I think it's what it's coming. Not that we're going to pay it off in 1 year. I don't think we're going to pay the whole leftover thing in a 1 year hit. It from what I've read, and I've read multiple different sources, not just one place, it was 26 million and 12 or 13 million, then 1 and then 1. That's the way it's trickling up. We got to remember, some of those $1 million that was a new restructured deal, moving the chains. Yeah. You got to remember, there was a restructured deal recently about 2 weeks ago that Dak had to be part of to add 2 more voidable years. This is the reason why. Because they're going to roll this money forward if needed, and you have a total of $40 million left over in the last 4 years. It doesn't get split evenly. That's why it's 26 and then 12 and then 1 and 1 because of the bonus that was pushed forward that we just restructured. It had to chop it up, and I think it was $5 million. You had to chop it up into the 5 years, 1 remaining and 4 void. That's why the last 2 years are still $1 million and $1 million. The ones before that, it's still like 38, 39 million combined in 2025 and 2026. That was my reading of it. That was my understanding of it. But again, I'm sure it's probably a little off as well. Who knows? I just try to get the closest to the reality of the situation. Now, we're going to go into something, actually, I think that you went into it. I saw Charlie involved. I know he's on Twitter as Charlie, but I've seen him involved, which I'm 100% in agreement with him, the way the DallasCowboys.com is doing something, and it's being led by the Joneses. I'll explain in a minute. But after this Dak situation, I do want to add a little more Dak to this. And it's about his receiver, and it's not CeeDee Lamb. It's about Brandon Cooks. Guys, today, Brandon Cooks and Dak Prescott, not just today, but have been working out together a lot earlier than last year. Remember, by this point, so a lot more cohesiveness and connection. And Brandon Cooks said, quote, "Solid throwing session today with Dak. Y'all thought number 4 went crazy last year? Let's just say this was just a glimpse," meaning last year was great, but he expects to be even greater. So he expects Dak to even be better next year. Now, of course, this is his teammate. He's going to say everything the best. So I don't really put too much into this.
Say, man, Dak's going to throw shitty.
But it just seems like maybe he feels like there's the connection with him and Dak are better this year, and they're more in cohesiveness here, in this in step with each other from the start now after a year and now an off season. So I think Brandon Cooks is heating up with Dak Prescott. Just wanted to say they are working out, which is also great news. The best thing we can hope for right now, going forward into the season. I see a double drop going down, baby.
Yes.
We have Marco Seppian and Brandon J. What did both of them have to say?
Brandon J said Lewis re-examined as a running back receiver on Friday.
Oh, is that the guy from the yeah? Okay, so he's a running back receiver. So he's interesting. I do remember. I think there was a rugby guy, but I thought he signed from. I don't know if it's the same guy or a new guy from the rugby league. But either way, there you go. Chiefs being creative.
Like I said, special teams for sure is the vibe I'm getting.
Yeah.
Anyway, Marco Seppian.
Yeah, he's not gonna be the starter.
Big mahalo with his $5 holiday said, if Dak will demand $60 million a year, no trade clauses and all the bells and whistles in his favor, then we have every right to put it all on his shoulders.
And I think, again, here's the thing. He's not getting $60 million yet. Now, he's at $40 million. Right now, we're putting everything on his shoulders for $40 million to see if he can handle the $60 million. I agree with you on that. I think that's what Jerry Jones is trying to, that's his negotiating ploy. That's his only option. But I'm going to be real with you about this, and this is the thing. It's okay if the Cowboys move on from Dak, have to pay out that, the dead cap money and all that stuff in the cap, but Dak knows he's going to get the money somewhere else. Somebody else will give him $58 to $60 million, even if he has an off year. You know why? Because all he has to say, whether it's his fault or not, listen, we lost Tyron Smith, Biotish, new center, an undrafted tackle or guard, whoever it is. We got, no nose tackle. Our defense was much worse this year. We lost Gallup. We don't have, now we put Tolbert. He didn't show up. No running game. I'm just saying, there's 15 things I can say why Dak he could push the blame somewhere else. He'll still get his $60 million. So putting more on Dak with less, you're not going to win. I don't care if you're Joe Montana. You're not going to win, Joe Montana, with a lot less, with no offensive line, no running game, with missing one more receiver. The defense weakened. The Mahomes won't survive. You guys understand what I'm trying to say? Mahomes will not win the Super Bowl, will not have a good year if that was his situation. I mean, look at him in the Super Bowl when he lost 2 offensive linemen. Dak plays better than him when they're down 2 linemen. When Mahomes and Dak's offensive linemen are down a lineman or down 2 linemen, Dak is better. You know why? Because he knows it. He knows that. He's played under those circumstances many more times than Mahomes has. So, and I'm just throwing it out there as an example. I'm sure Mahomes is better, but the point is Dak is more used to it than Mahomes. I remember saying that during that Super Bowl. Mahomes is not ready. He doesn't know how to react to that. Dak, he's dealing with that constantly on that offensive line. So anyways, I hear what you all saying. Is that both comments? I think we got both comments knocked out. So anyways, that's Dak. That's Brandon Cooks. Any thoughts on those two guys? Any quick thoughts on those guys?
Well, I did want to touch on the whole Dak contract thing because Established the Past kind of responded to your other comment there, saying, no, the $40 million you're seeing is the dead money in 2025 if he walks. You can't spread it out over a contract that isn't a contract anymore. But then that doesn't make sense though, because then how would we be still paying dead money to guys that are no longer with the team? I'm just saying,
it's from the you got to remember, it's the way that it's restructured. I'm not even using these numbers. I'm not looking at these numbers to make the determination. It's just an idea so people can understand the void years more than it is the numbers. But it's been calculated, guys. The 26 point whatever million is the number of restructures and money moved forward over a bunch of years of his contract. Then the 2026 $12 or $13 million dead money is from more restructures and stuff, but it's not as many restructures. It was one less restructure to keep it at $13 million instead of 26. And then the next 2 years are $1 million each. That's already been set. That is the way it's going to break down. It's not the Cowboys, establish the path. It's not the way the Cowboys choose to set it. It's not like the Cowboys could say, let's take the 40, just put it by 10 each year. No. I know that's not the way it goes. It's the way you restructure the money forward on his current deal. When his contract runs out, it will stay that way. And it's $26 million next year, $12 million a year after that, $1 million, $1 million. Again, he didn't have those last 2 years on this voided deal until they reopened it 2 weeks ago. So I just want Charlie to check on that for himself, because the Cowboys redid his contract, extended 2 more voidable years literally 2 weeks ago. And that's why you only have $1 million those last 2 years. And they respread the money out, brother, for this exact reason. So that's it. That's all. I mean, I'm giving him the facts. I know that I don't know if he missed that restructure from last week that had to have Dak's approval. Now, it wasn't just a button push restructure. This is a signing bonus restructure to put voidable years and move a little more money forward into 2 more years of bank for dead money for Dak. That's new. It was only 2 voidable years before 2 weeks ago.
By the way, Mike Aldana said the Clown Show doesn't have any trust in Dak anyway. El Cool said, Dak sucks, just wants a fat bank account. Don't kid yourself.
Well, every player wants that. He also wants to win a Super Bowl. Anyways, before we get to a sidestep discussion here, not even discussion, it's a quick little thing. I posted a little short on the man, Micah Parsons, working out again, guys, doing his workout videos, doing his thing out there. But he was at the same center, the Sanders Fit Performance Center in Dallas, Texas. He was working out there, and it's a video he posted. That's the home of the famed Derrick Henry workout videos that we've seen him do his workouts. Same, the same location there. So not that it matters. Derrick Henry's going to Baltimore, to the Ravens. But just want to let you know, if you see the video, I posted the short. He's at the same place, the same fitness center, the Sanders Fit Performance Center that Derrick Henry was at. Now, I want to get into this front office. We're going to finish it with the front office and free agents. But let's start off with, let's just say, and I'm going to say the GM. I know Jerry Jones has the label, but I think we all know by now that Stephen Jones is a motherfucker doing the contracts and running the show on that side of things for sure, if not most of the show. Just so you guys understand something. And I will say this, whether it offends Cowboy fans too goddamn bad, the Eagles front office, the way they make moves, I'm not saying they do everything right, but the way they make moves, they at least try. They at least are aggressive. Howie Roseman is an aggressive mover and shaker and tries to get his team always in the front to win. Now, they had to pay some of the dead cap money. They got rid of Wentz. They absorbed this money and they're still going. This is what the Rams did. So the Eagles today, they actually lost salary cap executive Jake Rosenberg. Now, he's like the right-hand man of Howie Roseman. Now, these two guys were really aggressive and smart about their contracts and all that stuff. The Eagles are now going to lose this long-time aide who's leaving the Eagles. And he is Howie Roseman's like top lieutenant. So they might drop a little bit when it comes to like these wheeling and dealing kind of moves.
Yeah, that's going to have some kind of internal effect.
Yeah,
obviously.
But those are the guys I'm talking about these guys because they are great at GMing and moving and making salary cap moves and stuff. That's the Eagles. Who do we got? This guy right here. All right, they've got guys running the cap for Philadelphia that are cap manager experts. We have a guy, Stephen Jones, who is a chemical motherfucking engineer for literally 6 months. And the other guy, Pasepko, what his name was, the other guy that's his right-hand man. Yeah, Papitsky, I don't know, his fucking fraternity brother was a college equipment manager. These are the two guys running our cap. They got Howie Roseman and they had Jake Rosenberg, masters of cap running and making moves and wheeling and dealing. We got two country bumpkin schmucks running this shit. Tweedledee and Tweedle fucking dumb. And I ain't talking about Jerry Jones, I'm talking about Steven and his right-hand man. We talked about him last week. Perfiska, I think is his name.
You know what's funny, too? Steven will absolutely claim but I have so much experience now because I've been doing it for a while.
Shit. He experienced bad experience. You get fired and you don't put that on your resume when you go applying on the job. How bad this motherfucker's done. Damn, yeah. I'm telling you. Anyways. And you know what's worse? Is that he actually saved us from Jerry a couple of times. From taking Paxton Lynch. They're just saying it could have been worse. And Stephen Jones at least did something good in here and there, but my goodness. We were just hanging on by a thread, guys. So I just want to give you the Eagles' background on things, how they're going, right? But what about us? So this front office, led by Stephen Jones, and yes, Charlotte Jones, but we know Jerry's at the top of this thing signing the checks. And let me say something. I love Nick Harris. And I don't mean that in no homo way, but Nick Harris is a great writer for the Cowboys. He gets great details. He gets great quotes, great information. He works for the DallasCowboys.com channel, news site, website, all that good stuff, right? This guy is like him and Patrick Walker are the top guys there at getting the information to the fans out there through their website. Run by, who is it run by? That's right, Jerry and Stephen Jones, right? Yeah. So Nick Harris today decided to post a thought. And listen, I don't blame him. Maybe he doesn't know, or maybe he's just in that echo chamber of stupid Cowboy front office people. But Nick Harris said this. Basically said, I'm paraphrasing here, but he said this is what fans want. They want salary cap space. They want to restructure Trayvon Diggs and get $8 million from that restructure. True, that we've said that. Restructure Terrence Steele. I'm not crazy about that, but you get $5 million from that. Restructure Donovan Wilson. You get $3 million back from him. You extend Dak. You get $30 million, $25 back on this year's cap. CeeDee Lamb, you get back $12, $13 million on the cap this year if you do these moves. We did none of these moves. So he was saying, look, you guys, you fans want this, but the problem is this, quote, if you push any money at all into the future while adding more contracts on the books with that money, which the veteran free agents will want multi-year deals, at least the ones the fans want, which is not all accurate too, you run the risk of not being able to fit 53 players on the roster in future years, which is bullshit. He continues by saying, yes, quote, yes, the cap will balloon by roughly $10 million a year, but the league minimum salaries are growing by a more rapid pace. By the way, that's bullshit too. The expectation is that next year we will see a 15% increase in league minimums. And he's trying to say that it's still $10 million a year, on salary cap, increases there. He says the money gained via cap growth minus expected growth in league minimums is relatively flat. So, already painting a picture like if we did these moves, we would be in salary cap hell. Shut the fuck up, Nick. And he continued by making more dumb points. Quote, the Cowboys are not the only team to go through this. Look at most teams with big expiring quarterback contracts that have pushed money forward. The Chiefs, with Mahomes, had to trade Tyreek Hill. The Falcons eventually had to trade Matt Ryan. But then he also makes another dumb comment by saying, but you guys can pay the cash now and then spread that over the voidable years. Which, you can do that. But he says the cash still counts against the cap. And if you spread it, you're in the same situation highlighted above. Which, in a way, yeah, of course, you're going to have to pay the piper eventually. We just showed you Dak's contract and more or less the way it's going to break down with the voidable years. So he's saying you just can't make room on the cap like every other team is doing. You can't do this because you won't be able to rebound from this. It's the same bullshit that Jerry and Stephen Jones has been spreading the lies about the pie. They've been doing this before Nick Harris was hired with the DallasCowboys.com. So maybe he doesn't know about cap. No cap. Maybe he doesn't know about how the cap works. Maybe he's just dopey. Maybe he just listens to whatever the Joneses say and he writes it.
I have my own personal theories on this.
Well, let me explain what the issues are first with his article, with his comments. I like the guy. He's good. And so, again, the fact that he's very smart makes me think that this is coming from the Joneses. Because if he's doing his own research, he'll come up with different information. It sounds like it's coming from the sources are coming from the Cowboy front office, not the facts. So, again, a lot of ultra-conservative or I would say really wrong assumptions in this one long tweet that Nick Harris made to defend the front office. I mean, that's what he's doing. He's defending his bosses. So let me go through the incorrect, and I would say lies, but just wrong assumptions. Incorrect assumption about the $10 million cap increase on the cap. Guys, that's what it was last decade. Ever since these new deals, these signings, the cap is going to grow, not $10 million a year. It's already grown 20, 30 million. It's going to grow 40, 50 million every fucking year. What is Nick Harris talking about? Is he back in 2014? And he's 2014. He's a decade behind right now. Even if you exclude the pandemic-related issues, from 2014 to 2019, the cap grew an average of 7% per year. 7% growth this year would be $17.9 million and $19.1 million increase on the cap. Guys, this year it was like $30 million. What is he? He's going backwards. It's not. We're going to go forward. The cap is going to get every increase every year. It's going to increase by a little more. It's not going to go back to 10 million. It's not going to go down to 17 or 19 million. It's going to go to 37 million.
Yep.
And 47 million. So he's already 100% dumb dead wrong about that. That's part one. Now, what about all free agents, he said? All free agents want long-term deals. Incorrect. You look at the PFF top free agents right now, at the guys the Cowboys have in positions of need. And these guys signed 1 and 2 year deals versus, you look at the guys that signed 1 or 2 year deals versus the guys that have signed a lot more. Running backs, only, 6 out of the 13 signed a 1 or 2 year deal. 9 out of the 10 offensive tackles signed a 1 or 2 year deal. At center, 2 out of the 6 signed a 1 or 2 year deal. At defensive tackle, 16 out of 26 short-term deals. 17 out of 25 edge rushers, short-term deals, and 15 out of 22 linebackers, short-term deals. Most free agents, even good ones, still only sign 1 or 2 year deals. So he's talking like we're going to sign 4, 5, 6 year deals. And that's how we're going to be. No. Nick Harris is playing with numbers the way that the salary cap boys over here play with us. Now, the other problem is the minimum salary increase. The minimum salary increase outlined in the CBA from 2024 to 2025 seasons, the salaries are set to increase by $45,000 across all experience levels. But for the rookies, that is only a 6% increase that's only for a 6% increase for veterans. For the rookies, it's only a 4 to 6% increase, but for vets, it's only a 2 to 4% increase. So he's overblowing and assuming that these contracts are going to go, 10, 20% more. No, it's 2 to 4% for the veterans and only an increase of 6% for rookies. If the Cowboys carry 50 of our 70 players in season players on minimum salaries, that's a total increased spending of $2.25 million. So the ideal cap growth is completely wiped out by the minimum salary inflation. Just so you guys know, it's just massively wrong. Even if you did this by using his wrong $10 million increase a year, it's still completely wrong. It's off. And he's just giving you incorrect numbers. This is sad that this is coming from the Cowboys front office to their website, to their news, to tell you why they can't spend the money. They're lying. And Nick Harris also stated that Tyreek Hill was traded because of Mahomes, because the guys, they could have afforded him. Tyreek Hill counted an average of $1.5 million more on the Dolphins cap than, Marcus Valdes-Scantling was on the Chiefs cap for the last 2 years. So they literally could have still kept Tyreek Hill for an extra $1.5 million. He's much better than Valdes-Scantling. Just saying, it was not about that. It was about other things, guys. Atlanta traded Matt Ryan because he sucked for 2 straight years. He was already coming to an end, and he went to the Colts. The last problem that spreading cash out will create, he said that it's going to create problems in future years, which I've heard this from Dak haters from the beginning. But guys, we've seen the economics of this a million times. Pushing the cap into future years means you're going to have a lower impact on the salary cap overall. In those future years, that money is going to be worth less to the cap because the cap's going to be up $50 million, and that hit, which would have hit you for a lot more this year, it's the percentage-wise, is going to hit the cap a lot less in the future. So what the fuck is Nick Harris talking about? Pushing it forward helps your salary cap now and in the motherfucking future. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you guys feeling me on this. Easy math. Pretend someone has $11 million base salary in 2024, and you lower that to $1 million. You got to convert that $10 million left to bonus and prorate it evenly over the remaining contract. You push $8 million into the future years, and the cap number becomes $3 million now. So again, when you look at this saves you $8 million or 3.1% of the 2024 cap. You're saving 3% of the cap this year, and you're making the cap in the future, the hit, mean less in the future. It's a combination thing, and it's just basic principles of economics and mathematics here. Nick Harris, do some more research or stop listening to your goddamn bosses. Or you have to, I guess, listen to your goddamn bosses. I don't know. Mark Hosepian.
You kind of have a choice on that one.
Mark in the house with the 5 on it. What did he say?
Thank you so much, Mark. Mahalo to you with a $5 holler saying, if he does not believe in Dak and wants to take a hit now, I get it. But he makes zero effort for a replacement.
That's the issue.
If he wants Dak, he does zero to sign free agents.
Exactly.
He's a clown.
But he wants to blame Dak. He wants you guys to blame Dak. Yeah. And the Joneses are the ones to blame. I've been saying this for years and years.
He wants to do nothing and blame Dak. He wants to do something and blame Dak.
Right.
But
it's always
way, it's never his fault.
It's never Jerry. It's never Steven. Again, guys, I appreciate you, Mark Hosepian. I hope everyone's understanding what I'm saying, but the way the clowns are using the cap and they're purposely using it so not to sign free agents that you guys may want, that forget about who we want, that are really good deals that would help this team. They don't care. These motherfuckers do not care. They're gonna blame Dak, and the Dak haters, dumb. Mark is I don't mind if you don't love Dak. I just don't like people that I hate Dak because I hate him. because he's getting paid too much, and it's more than I'm getting paid in my job. Like that's
or
what
at least the people who, again, I don't like Dak, but I can understand that the Joneses did not do right by him as well.
Well, not even right by him. The Joneses created this.
My point. Yeah. Right by the team.
Right.
But he specifically in the sense of we invested all this money into him and then did not, Well,
for this year. Yeah. The last year, I think it was more of an all-in last year. With Cooks and you had Gallup. We were hoping these guys would step up.
I wasn't talking about any specific. I'm talking like in an overall contractual sense, right? This isn't. I'm just saying this isn't a one-time, 1 year, one singular thing. Yeah, this is since the moment we got him and he started playing for the Cowboys, basically.
And listen, I hear you. I understand. And when that cap of Romo and Des Bryant ran off and we had a little bit of money to play with in Dak's rookie contract deal, what do? We did nothing. Nothing. We didn't spend the 20, 30 million we had hanging around, sitting there. And we rolled it forward. Because Dak and Zeke, and that was the excuses. They always will find someone to blame. And the Cowboy fans find it easier to blame the player that they see there on the field than the guys upstairs making a fucking mockery of the star and fucking our team over. Just to finish this up, guys, and I'm going to get into the free agents, the finale here. But if we assume that I want to know what you guys think about this, and I want to hear your comments too, baby, on this. But if we assume that 7% of our 7% cap increase year over year over year, let's assume that. That's where we're headed. We're definitely heading that way. Not $10 million, 7% of the cap, which is a lot more than $10 million. You assume that, right? You assume you have to release that player in 2025 next year for some reason. That $8 million you just pushed forward comes due as dead money. But that is still only 2.9% of the 2025 cap. Meaning that the move actually created, in a 2-year span, almost $600,000 extra cap space. And if you do that for a bunch of players over a similar time span, a couple years, now you got like $4 or $5 million, $6 million you've just saved in the future. As simple as that, guys. If a player lasts until 2026 and then is cut, now you only got $6 million in dead money going forward. And now that's only 2% of the 2026 cap. Again, accounting for the 7% increase in the cap. So the excess value only increases. The concept always holds true. If the cap, listen, even if the cap goes up only $10 million a year, which you'll never will, not until maybe in 30 something, but not in this decade. If the cap even stayed at $10 million a year, which is what Nick Harris said, this concept would still hold true. We would still save, this particular concept would still hold true. If you push money forward, even at $10 million a year, which is going to be $40 million, it still saves you money. And if you do it at a higher rate, which is what it's going to be, you're going to not save, $600,000. You might save $6 million over that span of 2-3 years instead of $600,000. With the way this is growing, you were using the minimum numbers here that Nick Harris used, and he still fed you the wrong information, guys. The problem here is not coming from a reporter who's a schmuck or a YouTuber. It's coming from the Cowboys.com, their front office. The only reason the Cowboys are against the cap this year, why, baby? Why are the Cowboys not showing the money? Why are they bitching about the cap? Why? You know why, right? We all know why. It's the guy they love to, they don't blame, but they love for us to blame. And that's Dak Prescott. And that's the only reason, and it's not because of Dak. It's because of their reluctance to do contracts early. If these motherfucking idiots, these two clowns, would do contracts even a year earlier, this whole cap shit, hell bullshit, wouldn't even be discussion. It's the Cowboys front office own fault. And you got writers out there working for these two schmucks. Yes, I know he's their boss, but Nick Harris did not put out the right information. It wasn't an article. It was a statement he made on Twitter, 100% wrong, leading people down the path of we can't make moves because we got no cap money. And that's complete and utter bullshit. I mean, it's horrible for someone like myself, some Joe Schmo, all right, that can put together the cap information, even if it's not 100% right. God damn, I can make it sound. It definitely is more accurate than what their own writers are saying and telling the Cowboy fan base. It's incredible to me. So, if the Cowboys had signed Dak to an extension this offseason, what about CeeDee Lamb? if we had extended him, I know CeeDee Lamb doesn't want to play right now. He wants to let it keep going until Justin Jefferson gets the deal. But let's say we had been able to pay a little bit more for CeeDee Lamb and say, fuck it, let's just get him now, get it done, and then whatever. At least we got it done. We got Dak done. The Cowboys would have much more room, not just this year, but for future years. Because we're waiting, we're going to have less money this year to spend and less money in future years to spend when we extend CD, when we extend Dak. This is the clown show. They are stupid. It's not CD. It's not Dak. It's these clowns. Plain and simple, mainly Stephen Jones, but he's learned it from his daddy. So, again, guys, this pretty much covers my issue with Nick Harris. I think I broke it down. I think that Joey somebody out there, Joey Ickles, I think, he also broke it down similarly like this. Nick Harris does a great job with the DallasCowboys.com. But everything I just said, you can find anywhere. You can find it on MyCowboysFamily. So Nick Harris, check MyCowboysFamily to get your cap information at least a little bit more accurate. Not perfect, but a little more accurate. All right? What's your thoughts on this, baby? I know you had some thoughts on the cap situation. You said you had a couple of thoughts. I want to make sure I left it open for you. Because before I even started, I wanted to make sure I got all these things. But you said you have your thoughts about why the cap is being handled this way. I thought you did, right?
I had thoughts on quite a few comments before that. It's all good. We're way past that now. But I do want to say something real quick again. Oh, cool. All good. Again, your football thoughts on Amber Garcia, perfectly 100 million, 10% valid. I won't disagree with you on that. Just want to say that the comments about her looks were just unnecessary. That's what I was trying to say. Like, feel however you want to feel about her football opinions or mindsets or whatever. No need to bring anything else into it. So
was it bad?
You read the chat. By the way, Trace Roberts, as far as the whole Dak thing, so Mike Aldana said Dak's a scapegoat. Trace Roberts said the Dak deal gets done right before the season kicks off.
Yeah,
book it.
I wouldn't doubt
Tyrone
that.
Church said, I smell a new Dak deal coming Easter here.
I mean, I don't know about Easter, but I still predict the Cowboys will sign Dak to an extension because that's in these voidable years will be revoided to the future, and we'll be paying Dak's contract to the 2030s. But it'll be at least managed a little better and the money will be the cap hits will be lessened by pushing this money forward. That's just the plain and simple truth.
Now, Jared Jones said, I only hire the best and brightest Nick Harris. So.
Listen, and I know I see what I want to address. I don't really look at the Amber Garcia part of the looks. I'm looking at more of his comment about Nick watching film. Nick Harris can watch all the film, and he's good at what he does, but he needs to read a book about the cap. No cap on that. He needs to read a book about the salary cap and how it works, how the mathematics work, how economy works. Because he don't know. He might know football film, but he don't know capology. And it seems like neither does Stephen Jones, honestly. But hey.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's more important that Stephen gets it right.
Nick Harris. Stephen Jones is the one that needs.
He's the one that get this. He's got to get this shit right because Nick Harris can say whatever he wants. The problem with that though is it feeds fans the wrong information. And then they come here thinking it's all Dak's fault. And I'm like, let me explain to you why it's not Dak's fault. I have to unveil the whole thing again and unravel it for everybody.
I know, but the problem is that people hear it's not Dak's fault, and they think that we are somehow absolving Dak of all blame.
No, we're talking about the contract side. It's not Dak's fault. That is the Joneses made this bed. Dak playing on the field.
Dak isn't, selflessly volunteering to play for the Dallas Cowboys for $1.
No, of course, but I don't.
It's his fault.
Exactly. He's not giving us a hometown discount. How dare he? Listen, stop it. You're not gonna give a hometown. Are you guys gonna give hometown discounts to your employer who's making billions on you? you ain't gonna give him a discount. He's getting paid too much. You didn't have a good year at work. Give your rich employer back some money. That's not how it works for you, and it don't work like that for Dak Prescott. Dak's gonna get. I'm not worried about Dak. Dak wants his money, and whatever the quarterback market is, just let him get that money. He deserves it. Not my place to say yes or no. That's the Joneses to make better deals, and they are fucking scum at making deals. Mahomes got the biggest deal of all time. How are they making it work? And they're signing players, and they're moving guys around, and they're making because they're smarter than us. Simple as that. Simple as that. Not Mahomes. They're just smarter at doing the contracts and letting Mahomes still have some weapons, some chances. They're not letting him do it all. You got me? Dak is not Mahomes, so we're going to be worse. Just trust me on this. He's getting help, Mahomes. Dak ain't getting help.
Seabass, by the way, throwing out there, Stephen Jones didn't finish elementary math. Why is he working $1 million contracts? Jerry needs to take him back to Wendy's. The problem is
I wish. He's a chemical engineer for 6 months.
Jerry's in that same boat.
Yeah, he's an oil man. Oil businessman. They don't know shit about football, but
you don't
they act like
to
it.
know oil.
Yeah, they act like they know it. They know fuck shit.
Oh, I'm just joking. Anyway, back to you, baby.
So let's finish up with a couple quick names, baby. I want to know what you think. A couple quick names on some free agents that are just floating around still. Some you might rehear for a quick second, but I want to know. You know the clown show ain't going to do shit. But we're going to talk about it even if it takes 10 seconds. First off, free agent signings for the big bubble. You guys know I know we haven't used it in a while since the COVID, but the big bubble, Mike McCarthy, free agent signings ahead of the draft. So this is all before the draft. We got about a month left for the draft. In the McCarthy era, in his first year with the Cowboys in 2020, we signed 11 free agents by this point. Well, by the draft. In 2021, we signed 9. In 2022, we signed 13. In 2023, we signed 11. This year so far, and it's not over, I've got another month, we only signed 6.
Yeah, okay,
and
so
one from another team.
So even by Dallas Cowboys standards,
yes.
Right? We're talking the scrubbiest of the scrubs that we usually get. Even by our own internal metrics, this is like a pathetic showing.
Correct. It's an embarrassment. We're going backwards. We lost a lot of players and didn't fill any spots in. We're going to do it with rookies. So, Cowboys, again, they're saying they're changing the usual strategy of using free agent to fill roster gaps.
Clearly.
But they literally are doing less than what they claimed they were going to try to do. They're going to focus on that probably after the draft. So, meaning, and we heard that from McCarthy. He said it himself, like, well, there's still that pre-draft and post-draft, free agent period. And then there's the OTAs, and then we're going to have our own draft class. And we're going to have, before training camp, we got some free agents that, what the fuck? These are all going to be $1 million free agents. So I don't know what the fuck is going on. I laugh through the tears. I guess the best way of saying it. So here's some free agents, guys. Some of these guys might not be even, really, with this fucking front office, they ain't happening. The only way some of these moves happen, some of them can happen now. The only way the bigger names happen is if they fall through the cracks till after the draft. Remember, my friends, Stephen Jones, the one thing he will masturbate to all day and all night long are comp picks. And the last thing we want to do is sign somebody who's going to take away a compensatory pick from the Cowboys next year. So expect no big moves done. Anybody who's we signed, they're going to be like $2 million or less. Everyone that we signed off another team will be $2 million or less until after the draft. So, unless one of these guys are $2 million, maybe we can get them now. Offensive line, let's start there, baby. We don't have Tyron Smith. What about David Bakhtiari, formerly of the Packers? His future is not clear right now because of what? His age and his injury history. But the Cowboys, I think if I'm not mistaken, is that what happened? Yeah, the Cowboys had actually picked them up for a minute. I missed this. And they released him without really officially picking up because he failed the physical designation this past year. So if he's able to play this year, he can pass the physical. The Cowboys are obviously watching for him, for David Bakhtiari.
Exactly. Because of the previous interest, we already know that the interest would
definitely
be here even now. So.
Yeah, so coming, again, we still would have to, he would be basically tackle depth. All right, Tyron Smith, to the Jets, so he's out of here.
Is Bakhtiari a guy we could sign on one of those veteran minimum?
Yes. He's been 4 years or more, and that's what he is, obviously. Right. So, again, we go to those real cheap deals. We give him he gets a little extra bonus money, and we save money on the cap with a signing of David Bakhtiari if he goes that low. Like Jordan Lewis was he got paid $2.3 million, but we're only paying like $1.1 million on the cap or something like that. So that's what I think is going to happen here, using the same practice method. Again, he's injury prone, obviously, but I think we'll use the same situation as Tyron Smith, practice-wise, for Bakhtiari. Like, we just have him working, walkthroughs and shit, so he can be ready for the game. Using that same system, we'll maybe have David Bakhtiari, maybe he can last the whole year as a left tackle, and we'll have to have a backup for him too. So it's a similar situation, but for a lot cheaper than Tyron Smith. Another option, a little younger, Charles Leno, who I do not like. He was from the Bears. He went to the Washington Commanders. I'm not a big fan of Leno, but he has given the Cowboys problems. I remember him doing that to us when he wasn't supposed to. So, again, this would be at least a backup or some kind of starting. He's a starter for two different teams. So he's a starting option heading into the draft. Charles Leno, solid, not great, but solid the last couple of years. I will give him that. He's also 32 years old. And he allowed, in 13 games, he only allowed 3 sacks with a shitty, rest of an offensive line for Washington. So, at this point in the offseason, it would be hard to find another affordable and capable offensive tackle in free agency. Let's just be honest about it. So, David Bakhtiari, if his injury stuff is checked through, he's an option. And another offensive tackle, Charles Leno. A solid option, but nothing special. Maybe a little better than, what was last year? Chuma Edoga.
Yeah.
So, any thoughts on those two guys as far as tackles are concerned? I mean, those are two very possible additions. One of the two, for different reasons.
I kind of already shared my thoughts, but yeah, I think Bakhtiari is definitely the quote-unquote favorite of those two.
I see Griff saying Mekhi Becton, too much for the Cowboys. Cowboys do not spend that much for him. They're spending $1 or $2 million at most.
Tyrone Church saying, I'd rather have Chuma over him.
Yeah, Chuma's 1.2.
We
paid that last year. Chuma was our biggest, most expensive free agent last year at $1.2 million.
Completely unrelated, but Seabass, that's funny as fuck. He said, Sean, did he? Combs.
We might talk about that in the After Dark session, brother.
Yeah, that would actually be a good topic for the After Dark.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I'm going to play some Diddy songs tonight. And we'll dance around to that.
I'm not sure how to take that.
I don't know either. We'll all do drugs and dance around. Anyways.
Still not sure how to take that.
I'm fucking joking. It's called sarcasm. Anyways, moving on from an offensive tackle spot. And again, I think that either guy I'm happy with. I mean, they're cheap enough. How about running backs? I talked about J.K. Dobbins earlier. Going to see the Chargers. Maybe hooking up with Greg Roman, offensive coordinator there. He played under him, but he showcased some really good talent since being a second-round pick out of Ohio State. But the biggest issue is injuries, of course, which has sidetracked him for the majority of his career. He had an inside track last year, being the Ravens' starting running back before he tore his Achilles. Now, he's fully healthy off of that. And he averaged 5.8 yards per carry in his career when he played. So, to me, more than worth taking a look at him. But like I said, the Chargers sounds like they have a little edge on that. Now, the other guy I really like, and look, I like Kareem Hunt. There's a couple other running backs. You could throw Zeke and Dalvin Cook. The Cowboys really want to get a look at those two guys, maybe. My belief is whoever trickles all the way down is who the Cowboys are going to grab. Whoever it is. Doesn't matter. And I think CEH could be one. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Now, we know he's a former first-round pick. Played well in his rookie season when he was utilized a lot more. Finished in 2022 with 803 yards. Ran for 4.4 yards per carry average. And then his carries decreased every season since then. He was hardly used as much. It was I forgot his name, the little quick guy, Isaiah Pacheco and other guys that were used in there, and he kind of got phased out. But he wasn't injured. He didn't play poorly. So to me, guys, I think a larger role as a starter in Dallas with Rico Dowdle as number 2 and a rookie as your, number 3, too soon to be, number 1 eventually one day, hopefully. But I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire, you get a bigger role for him, you get more out of him. I think he can show you some stuff he showed you in his rookie year in 2020. So I personally, out of those two guys, J.K. Dobbins, I think he's too injury prone to count on. I like Kareem Hunt. I like a lot of these guys, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire to me, in my mind, seems to be good. If you have to go with the guys the Cowboys are picking, like I said the other day, I'd rather go with Dalvin Cook over Zeke. But at that point, it's the same difference to me. So any of these 4 guys, at this point, we'll just take them. And I think out of these, the guy the Cowboys will sign, if they sign any of these guys, it'll be the guy that don't get signed by anybody else by the time we're after the draft. Then we'll sign one of these guys. You'll see. Now, receivers, this is a little more costly. Odell Beckham Jr. I just don't, look, I know there's always been a connection. I just don't see a way he's going to be here. But the Cowboys have always been connected to OBJ. He's talked to the Chiefs, no deal there yet. Now, he's still in the market of $11 million. So I'm going to tell you right now, if he's $11 million for the Cowboys, forget about it. It ain't happening, guys. All right? He's not the same player he was when he was, made that catch against the Cowboys and Brandon Carr.
Yeah, I'm sorry. If you told me right now, like, oh, you can have Odell for $11 million, I would laugh in your fucking face.
Hell no. But listen, it would be an intriguing offseason. We've lacked a lot. I guess you can say you could maybe sign him not losing a comp pick, but there's no way in hell Odell Beckham will be signed before the draft. By the Cowboys, at least. So keep that in mind. To me, you spend that money somewhere else. But we have extra money. We're not spending any of it. So maybe you do want to go for a bigger name. How about Michael Thomas? Very injury prone from the Saints. Used to be one of the best receivers in the NFL. 6'3". Michael Thomas, may I add. It could be an interesting, risky deal, a 1-year deal, a prove-it deal from the injury. He had an impressive start to his career. He had 1,000 yards in each of his first 4 years. Career high 1,725 yards in 2019. And since then, he hasn't been the same since injuries. He hasn't had more than 448 receiving yards in a season. Or last year, he had 448 yards, 31 years old. The only thing I would say with him as our third receiver, for a cheap price, worth it to me. Michael Thomas still has that natural ability, but he ain't the superstar, right? We don't need him to be. We got 2 guys in front of him that could, again, an option, a receiver option. How about one more receiver? Actually, forget about it, because Josh Reynolds was one of my guys, but he just got paid $14 million for 2 years. So, yeah, the Cowboys were going to do that. That's my point. So receiver's a little harder, I think, in free agency. That's why I think the Cowboys are going to focus on a receiver in the draft. 3rd round, if we trade back a 4th round pick, 5th round pick, receiver for the Cowboys, in my guesstimation. Now let's go to the defense. This is a guy who, I can't believe he's still out there. This guy had seen like 4 or 5 teams and no one signed him yet. Tennessee Titan, defensive tackle, nose tackle, would be a replacement for Jonathan Hankins, and it would be an upgrade. Teair Tart. Yeah, I know it sounds like a food of some sort, but hey, guys, the Cowboys obviously desperately need some interior defensive line help. Jonathan Hankins is Seattle. Gallimore is with Miami. So the options, not very many out there right now, but this is by far the better guy. Teair Tart. He turns 28 this year, and he had 8 tackles for loss last year with Houston. And again, he did play with Houston and Tennessee last year. He was traded in the middle. Maybe East Side is in the house. But Teair Tart he's not going to get you the numbers, but he's going to take on double teams the way Jonathan Hankins did, and maybe even better. So to me, Teair Tart, such a need for us. $2 million, you can grab this guy, bring him in at this point. I don't know. Can you get him for $2 million? That would not cost us a comp pick. That'd be cheap enough. You get a solid guy that will really truly help Eric Kendricks and this fucking running defense. That's what we need, right? Other options on the defensive line. I love Calais Campbell. Now, I know in a 3-4 he's more of an edge, but he can play interior. He's turning 38, and he's old, but he'd be cheap. He'll be a VSB, baby. A veteran salary benefit deal. That's the only way the Cowboys will bring him in. He's 6'8", all right? He posted overall, still, even old, 74 every year since 2011, including an overall grade of an 80 last year when he was with the Falcons. And they weren't that good. They only were good on run stop. Like, they were really much better because Calais Campbell was in the mix. So, like all free agent targets the Cowboys this offseason, he's probably out of the Cowboys' price range unless it's after the draft. Calais Campbell would cost us a comp pick like Odell would. So, expect, if they do make a deal like with Calais Campbell, I don't think that I'd rather go Teair Tart right now and get him done. But Calais Campbell would be somebody would hit the compensatory hits and stuff like this. So you probably lose a 7th rounder or a 6th rounder if you sign Calais Campbell. Then there's Carl Lawson. Has he been signed? I think Shaq Lawson. I think he was signed recently, but again, he had a season-ending back injury last year. We needed to replace some depth. I do think Carl Lawson was just recently signed though. So the only other names to watch floating around, you might want to keep an eye on. Quandre Diggs, released from the Seattle Seahawks. He's a starter. Former Texas safety. 14 combined interceptions from 2020 to 2022. So Quandre Diggs, to add in a defensive back, I know he's a safety, but yeah, main interest there. Cornerback, old man Patrick Peterson. Remember, guys, he was a Cardinal most of his career, but he did play with the Vikings and Mike Zimmer's defense for 1 year. So would they be willing to give him one more try as maybe the backup outside corner? I don't know. I'm just trying to think. I don't know. Hunter Renfrow, a name that's been coming up a lot for the Cowboys as a cheaper, like slot receiver option. Which really, honestly, I mean, we got Cavante Turpin, but we don't use him like that. It'd be like another, I guess you could say a similar Beasley kind of move right there. It's our third receiver, which we need. So we do have Turpin, but he's more of the returner. He's not really on the line of scrimmage kind of receiver the way Beasley was. Renfrow is more like Beasley. Renfrow would definitely add more competition and more options in the slot for the Cowboys. So that's a cheaper option for the Cowboys. I think we get him for a cheap deal. And then the last two are former Cowboys. Stephon Gilmore, right? Feels more and more like it feels like we're going to be out of his price range, but also feels like the Cowboys don't want to even consider him. And then you got Zeke, which the Cowboys, Zeke and Dalvin Cook. We know Zeke, he's still out there. Dalvin Cook's still out there. You know, the Cowboys are paying Zeke $6 million already, dead cap money. And you get him for another $1 million, paying $7 million. I guess you can kind of digest that a little better. But either way, whether it's Zeke or Dalvin Cook, only if it's after. I mean, Zeke can get now, right now, I think. But I think any of these names you're hearing me say are pretty much going to be after the draft when there's no comp picks involved. So that's what I'm seeing here, guys. Let me know if I missed anybody major. I'll tell you. Give me some names out there. I don't know if you heard anything you like, baby, that I kind of went through here. Tier Tart, defensive tackle. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm throwing some thoughts.
Thomas Garrett said Calais Campbell has over 100 sacks.
Yeah,
Apocalyptic Cowboy said I'd snag Campbell for dirt cheap at 38.
The thing is, probably still out of the Cowboys' price range, and you got to wait till after the draft because the Cowboys don't want to give up a comp pick. They probably have to give up a comp pick. Now, again, it depends how much he plays, how much he gets paid. So you don't have to give up a comp pick if it's cheap. Calais Campbell is not cheap yet. You're not getting him dirt cheap. At 38 years old or not, he still was a major player for the Falcons last year. So he's not going to be worth what he was when he was at his best. But the man is still going to be worth a lot of money. A lot of money for the Cowboys. Out of the Cowboys price range.
Seabass said Calais would be cool, but Tyron Church said I want Carl Lawson or Charles Harris.
I don't know. Was Shaq Lawson just signed? If he wasn't, that's an option for the Cowboys as well. And I would not mind him. But I thought he was just signed recently, a couple days ago. I thought I discussed his signing 2 days ago. But even if he's not, I mean, these guys have to be very cheap because these are depth rotational replacements for Dorrance Armstrong and Dante Fowler. They would not be starters. The only guy that would be a starter would be Tier Tart. That's why I say Tier Tart, my number one pick. And also offensive lineman. Give me Charles Leno. Give me Bakhtiari if he can get back on. You know what I'm saying? The trenches is what I'm saying. I need some trench work. And we're lacking. Offensive starters, defensive interior starter, we're lacking. So there's 3 names to me. Those 2 out of those 3 guys, like one of the 2 tackles and the nose tackle, that sets us up for a draft. Then now we only have to sign a center on the offensive line. You know, we can now look at a cornerback or linebacker or something instead of nose tackle as well. But just those 2 signings. Just throwing it out there. I'm trying to make our draft a little more simpler, a little easier, a little better. You know?
Oh, no, just kind of rolling back a little bit here.
I take
by
this
the way,
serious,
yes,
guys.
and Shaq signed, but not Carl.
Okay,
Tyron
Shaq
Church
Lawson.
also agrees. He's saying, I want Tart, C. Lawson, Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, I mean, again, Cook or Zeke would be cheap. Carl Lawson would be a rotational backup, which would be perfect for our team. Tier Tart, a top run stopper in the sense of, taking on double teams and making life easier for our linebackers. Eric Kendricks can do so much more with someone like Tier Tart there. So these names, and again, offensive tackle. I know he's not great, but Charles Leno. It makes you just say, okay, I don't have to worry about drafting an offensive lineman now. We could wait to the 3rd round. We could wait till next year if we had to. Getting Bakhtiari if he's healthy enough. You got him there. At least you got him starting. Now you got someone that can, you don't have to worry about as much on that draft for that spot because we need starters there. And same thing with Tier Tart. The other guys, Carl Lawson, you got some good rotational guys in there. Now, he's been injured, Lawson. So the back injury knocked him out last year, but he could be dangerous when he's healthy. Similar situation. Hurt, a little cheaper. Perfect for the Joneses. But all these guys will probably have to be, unless they're taking a under $2 million deal, if they're over $2 million, just assume the Joneses will just wait till after the draft when there's no comp equations in effect. There's no comp. If you take a guy that's going to be $8 million, now you're going to lose one of your compensatory free draft picks for 2025. And trust me, Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones, that's the last thing. They'd rather lose every game than lose a comp pick.
Yeah. So, let me see. Seabass said, man, these damn... let me see. Yeah, what is going on with the freaking ads today? Like, usually it's not so bad. And I can tell you, at least on our side, we're not responsible.
Yeah.
So I think YouTube must have changed something because a few of you guys have been complaining tonight saying that the ads have been
crazy. Wow.
Just like they keep kind of showing up and
YouTube must be looking at.
It must be automatic or something.
No, it doesn't. All I know is the way that they set it up here automatically on my side is they have like it's a very simple like kind of rotation, I guess, of ads they throw up there. So you can put it up to like maximum ads. I do never do that. I put the minimum, and they still put. I think it's every like 15 minutes they put an ad or something like this. But if you do it like every 5 minutes, that's crazy, right? You can set it like that. We do not have it set like that. That is insane. So I'm gonna double check that next time and make sure that shit is. May have to just reset it or I don't know what. But that's not us. Trust me. That's YouTube. They're trying. It's kind of like cops when they're trying to end the month strong. They're under budget, so they got to pull over more people to get tickets and do like what is that? Speed traps and shit to get the money. It sounds like at the end of this month, YouTube's running a little short, so they're trying to get some ads out there. I don't know.
So let me go ahead and hit up one or two more comments, and guys,
we'll call it a night.
What time it is? Yes. So of course, take a second here to hit like, subscribe, hit the bell, follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily. Hop down in the Discord, link is in the description box down below. But we have to shout out before I do the rest of the shout outs here in the chat and read some comments. The people making MCF happen here on the daily and the nightly. Thank you very much to our Cash App King. Yeah. And our sponsor of the week.
He's taking over.
And showing the love.
McLovin. Yes.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you, of course.
There's the kingdom. The McLovin Kingdom. Appreciate you, brother. Sponsor of the week and the king of the Cash App. And also the king of the silver level is Mr. A. Lavelle with 33 points. Damone Clark, TD, Tony Dorsett. A. Lavelle, 33 points currently on the Stream Boss. And as you look right above that, you see the gifting champ right there. Mm-hmm. Skeptical fan, always staying skeptical. He won it last week with 3 gifted memberships. So extra thanks to Skeptical. If you saw a little before that, you see he's also dropped the 1 gifted membership, the only one this week. And he is the leader trying to go back to back, like our 90s Cowboys. When you look at the overall board, though, you got a guy trying to take over like McLovin did, like Jeremy Bramlett did, like Deadfool did. Like everybody who's taking over Sponsor of the Week and Cash App. And it might happen again this time because Harley Dad is in first place right now. Got a little lead over McLovin on both of the boards. And also a little lead over Deadfool. That thing can change quick. So we'll see what happens. But Harley Dad currently coming for the crowns. Both Sponsor of the Week and the King of the Cash App. Good luck to him and much love to all you guys who rep here with us. I'm going to shout out those that have dropped the love from above overnight, last night, and tonight. Much love to Grateful Nomad, Jera Jones, Dead Fool, McLovin, Rob L., Brandon J., and Mark Hosepian in the house today. Thank you. And appreciate all you guys for dropping the love from above. I did my part, baby. It's time to do the shout-outs with some comments still. Throw in some comments and thoughts.
Yeah, of course. Louis Ortiz, much love. Appreciate you. Again, we're just glad to have you here. And never, guys, again, sharing your thoughts, your opinions.
Yes, we want that.
As long as it's,
not personal shots.
Done in as long as, be as disrespectful as you want about your actual opinion. As long as your opinion itself is delivered in a respectful manner, it's all good, right? No personal attacks, and it's always good. El Cool said, Jerry Jones is losing money. Well, he can't lose it fast enough. And of course, C. Bass, much love. Appreciate you as always. Chalk to Montana 808 said, later MCF and MCW, thanks to the content. And always just appreciate you coming through and hanging with us here, guys.
Sorry, get your PC going, man. We got you.
Ooh, Apocalyptic Cowboy said, Turbin should have a big year with the kickoff rule changes.
For sure. And, hey, by the way, I wanted to add something to this that I kind of missed the other day. You know what I remembered, baby? You like this because you're, special teams, but we can have 2 returners back there. The other guy's going to be Deuce Vaughn. I don't think Deuce is going anywhere now. I changed my tune on Deuce because of the kickoff rule and the fact that you can have 2 returners. They try to sneak one up. Because remember, now you kick it off, you cough and corner it. You got to run the guy all across the field. Now you got 10 guys on you. You have 2 returners back there. You have Turpin and Deuce. Yeah, it could be a little. You can't kick it to either guy. You're screwed either way. So that's something to keep in mind of for Deuce Vaughn, even if he doesn't play on offense too much. Still special teams, like you said, is important. Not just come out to Turpin, but also Deuce Vaughn. Keep an eye on that.
I'm excited to see if we can get some utility out of him personally. So Tyrone Church, much love. Lost in translation, take it easy. Mike Aldana. I think I shut it out, but just in case, Louis Ortiz, Apocalyptic Cowboy. Let me see who else is in here. Thomas Garrett, the superior Garrett.
Of course he is. We know that Jason isn't.
Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure I don't miss anybody here in the chat. As I'm rolling back here, trying to give everybody their proper shout-outs, right? Griff181, much love. Jarrah Jones, yeah, even you. Let me see.
Jarrah. I went on my After Dark thing, and I am getting a shitload of ads. I don't know why. That's crazy.
That was really weird.
We have the premium, but not on my After Dark account. So
well, let me see. Choice Roberts, have a great night. Just kind of rolling back. Of course, a big mahalo to Marco Seppian.
Hell yeah.
KD.
The drops of tonight are run by Marco Seppian.
Let's see. Jordy Fuentes.
And Brandon J.
El Cool. Bad Intentions. Establish the Past, which, by the way, guys,
yeah.
make sure to check him out. Sub it up.
Subscribe to him, yes. I'm going to watch his video. I want to hear what he's going to say. I'm curious about what he has a video he just released today, so I want to see it.
James. I can't really go back any further. Let me come back down to make sure. Let's see. Quavon, Prince, shout out to you. Much love.
Yeah. And MCF After Dark,
yes.
Of course. Join us if you dare. Join me if you dare. Shortly.
Oh.
So I think that's a wrap here, baby, on MCF, My Cowboys Family. I appreciate everybody in here. If you're watching the replay, comment down below. And don't forget to hit the like and hit the subscribe if you're new and all that good stuff. But, baby, let them all know why we do this thing here on My Cowboys Family, here on YouTube. Why do we do this each and every day and night?
It's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Yeah, win, lose, or draw. Good, bad, or ugly. Here in MCF, we always rep that star over everything. And here for not 5, not 6, over 6, almost 7 years. July 1st, 7 years on YouTube on My Cowboys Family. And never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, go Cowboys. We don't want 5. We got to get that 6 and beyond. Thank you all for dropping the knowledge in the chat all night long. Cannot do this without your thoughts on our team. Also, definitely can't do this without the drops of love from above, specifically tonight, Mark and Brandon and the After Dark crew. Appreciate all of you. We'll be seeing you guys, some of you guys, on After Dark shortly tonight, in an hour or so. So we'll join some of you guys then there. And if not, again, probably tomorrow, we probably will be on, but, it could be, we might have 1 or 2 more streams left this week. With the lack of news, the Cowboy news out there, we have 2 days in one. We're still an hour and 45 minutes. So that shows you, that's usually one power pack day. It wasn't even that power pack today. And we still got 2 days worth in. So if it's like that again, we might be here Saturday and Sunday or Friday and Sunday. So just keep it in tune. But appreciate everybody in the house repping it here with us. My Cowboys Family, repping it with the family, with the team. That's star over everything. And of course, drops of knowledge, drops of love. Can't do it without you all. But as we get ready to clock out and drop out for the night, relock and reload for the weekend right ahead of us here. Even if we go live tomorrow, it's still technically the weekend. Before we can officially drop out of here for the night, let them know what we got to do.
We got to drop the beat.
Oh, yeah. That beat drops hard. The beat's been dropped, right, Lewis? Thank you all again for joining us here at My Cowboys Family for the daily dive in Big D. News, info, updates, a whole wrap-up of the day, the last 2 days of this one. A whole wrap-up right here on another MCF Cowboys chat. Hell yeah, guys. We'll have 3 more days of Pro Day, Big 12, at the Ford Center. And we talked about that today. We talked about Dak and Brandon Cooks, connecting better now. Talked a lot about Jerry Jones, the salary cap, and their own people writing, their own news people for their own channel, for their own website, for their own newspaper, basically. The Joneses are sliding, are tricking the fan base, are trying to, using Nick Harris. We talked about it all here tonight, right here on MCF, where it's about that navy blue, that silver too, and always that star over everything. Never forget the number one thing right here on My Cowboys Family. Much love to everyone in the house, even the haters. Appreciate you all. Don't forget to hit that like button. It helps the analytics. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you're new, keep growing the family and growing the subscribers. Almost at 34,500 subscribers. And of course, don't forget to hit that notification bell to on for all videos, because that's how you know we go live. You can also follow us on Twitter, X, at MyCowboysFamily, all social media there. We also post there and in Twitter as well. In Discord as well. Thank you all again. We'll see you back here very soon. Have a good night. Stay safe. Peace. And never, ever, ever forget, Go Cowboys!